I do this open sinus lift prior to taking out the teeth, I can fill all this area in with bone. It's all filled in. We wait 4 months, let it mature, and when you come back to actually place the implants, I don't have to worry about if my canine implant's in the sinus. I don't have to worry about the depth of my bicuspid implant because it's in bone. This is all going to be solid bone. Okay, so then we can actually have so much bone we can immediately load this case most likely. And I really feel you can because you've got some pretty good bone to engage.
And you're thinking about 3 months for the grafting to take?
4.
4 months. Okay.
4 months minimal. But they come in, we do grafting on bilateral sinuses, let things heal 4 months, and when we come back to actually do the remaining parts of this, we can take care of them pretty simply.
Okay.
You know, and in the first step, you know, maybe when you do the open sinus graft, you want to maybe take out the molars on top just to get them out of the way.
Well,
They're infected.
well, that doesn't please me.
Okay, you need them for the
I'm wanting to,
vertical.
I'm
Okay.
wanting to leave the last
Well, keep
molar.
them. Keep them. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, keep them. That's fine. And when we take out these teeth, if there's a lot of big bony defect from the socket from infection, we just fill this off with calcium at the time we put the implant in. Because I don't want beautiful bone and a great implant and 3 millimeters away is a big defect where the socket was. So we just fill it in with calcium. No problem. But that would be the way to do it. And that would be a simple case to do. Yeah, I do an all-in-5 on that one. Save some costs for her, him, whoever it is. The bottom arch is not the challenge. It's just measure down your 18, trim the bone down, use a reduction guide
How
to do
close?
that.
Put your cursor on how close you can come to that nerve.
Let's go back to the second bicuspid again on the bottom. Let's put it in there.
What I'm saying is, I'm just curious, how close would you ever dare to threaten the nerve? I'm just curious.
I think stay
A
2
millimeter away, 2 millimeters?
No,
5
you gotta stay
millimeters?
2 millimeters because your drill always goes longer than because the drill's tapered. The drill's always going to go about a millimeter and a half longer than the osteotomy site. It's just because the drill has a tapered end, and that tapered end is not touched by the implant. So you're always going to go about a millimeter and a half longer in your drill preparation than you will with your implant placement. So you can't, I try to stay 2 millimeters away. All right. But if I measure this, occlusal surface down, yeah, you see we're getting into trouble there on that spot. The nerve is a little high. Let's come back a little bit with this thing then. Let's come back maybe to the mesial socket of the first molar. That would probably be a better place to be at. The nerve is right there. Can you see the circle?
I guess. Only you would recognize that. I would never recognize that.
And there's
Okay.
your nerve. Okay. So that's your nervy worvy. And let's see what we got here. Wow, that's 12.
Well, 12 works, and plus
No, it's 12 millimeters from the implant to the occlusal surface. That's
Oh,
not.
yeah,
So
okay.
that's 9 millimeters for
Yeah,
your bridge.
yeah,
that ain't gonna
yeah.
work.
Well, okay, but I plan on opening a
Okay, that's
bite.
what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Is the warrant on the bottom? Because if it is, and they're overbiting, that's
Yeah.
different. If you're going to open the bite 3 millimeters, well,
Well,
that just gave you 15. Now you got 12 millimeters of space.
That's what I'm planning. I've made a lower bite splint for her to wear to see if she can tolerate opening 3 millimeters.
Oh, that won't be a problem. Is the tooth to lip is normal?
It
You're
is.
Gonna, okay.
Number 8 is.
Okay, if that's normal, great. You're not going to change the occlusal plane on top, but on the lower arch, we can open it. We can make the bridge taller because she's over closing on the lower, so that's fine. Yeah. Anteriorly, it won't be an issue at all because you can just put the implant in wherever you want. There's
Yeah.
not going to be a problem with
Right.
that. Yeah. So you get plenty of room for that in the anterior. Easy. That's 17 right there, and the nerve is way out of your way, and we just take off some of that extra bone there, chip that back a little bit, make that a bigger implant, and you're home free. Yeah. Once
So you can see the tori there.
yeah, just
So
take it
does
off.
that all get removed?
Yeah, the bone gets cut off right here, and that little ledge will just be trimmed off. Yep. Yep. And that's where the implant will go, about right there. Put a big implant right there for you. So
Right.
no problem.
Well, now you've totally treatment planned this case. Now all we've got to do is get the patient to come over here.
Yeah. Well, if she'll let us come in and do it, you know, I would say sinus grafts first. Yeah. I'm just going to save this real quick.
So sinus graft is just a one-day deal. About how many hours does it take?
It's about 35 minutes per side.
35 minutes per side.
Yeah. They don't have to be to sleep unless they want to, but if they want to go to sleep, we'll put them to sleep. If they don't go to sleep, obviously they can drive here and drive home.
Well, that's a pretty easy deal. So in the $28,000 fee, is that inclusive of the sinus?
It would not be, because I gotta do some bone additives called GM21 to make the bone grow quicker, and that fee would probably run about $4 grand for me to do that, to do both sides. And I would minimize the amount of bone I would use because I'm doing both sides. So I would have like, I've used the bone, one side that's left over, I use the other side to save them dollars that way. If they don't go to sleep, it's less expensive, and they can drive here and drive home kind of thing. So it'd probably around $4 is what it cost me to do that, that procedure. Yeah.
Okay.
4.5, somewhere right in there. And this lady's name is Clark. Jody, is that correct?